Young and the Restless shocker. Kirsten haunts Sharon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Young and the Restless spoilers confirm Kirsten contributes to Sharon Newman's breakdown as she spirals out of control on the CBS Censor. Sharon Newman spiraling on Young and the Restless. Currently on Y&R, Sharon Newman's mental health is plummeting. Her new bipolar medication was making her feel strange and not like herself. And coming up, she confesses that she stopped taking it without consulting her doctor. Now she's hallucinating. Mostly, she's seeing her late daughter, Cassie Newman. She was Maria Copeland's twin sister who died in a tragic car accident 20 years ago on Young and the Restless. However, Sharon also hallucinated kissing her ex-husband, Nick Newman. And soon, she has another hallucination that terrifies her. She envisions her psychotic dead stalker, Kirsten. Sharon traumatized by killing Kirsten on Y&R. Not long ago, Kirsten, Lyndon Ashby, resurfaced though he was presumed dead. He showed up in Genoa City and terrorized Sharon Newman, Sharon Case. He kidnapped her daughter, Faith Newman, Lancaster. Then, he tried to make Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, choose between saving Sharon or Faith. In the end, Sharon killed Cameron, saving them all. However, taking someone's life is a heavy thing, even if it's self-defense. And she never processed it the right way on Young and the Restless. She threw herself into her work. Plus, he left her his company, Kirsten Industries, that she revamped into a new company, Cassidy, naming it after Cassie. No doubt, all of this has been lying just under the surface. The ordeal with Cameron was traumatizing and is affecting Sharon much more than she realizes. Now, he's haunting her, which might push her over the edge. Young and the Restless spoiler. Sharon leaving Genoa City. This week on Y&R, Sharon admits to Nick, Faith, and Mariah Copeland, Karen Grimes, that she's off her meds. She also admits that she is not OK and needs help. She reveals that she didn't handle killing Cameron properly. Plus, she admits she never grieved her late husband, Ray Roselle's, Jordi Villasuso, properly either. So she agrees to get help. She wants to go away to heal, not in a hospital, but somewhere peaceful, like a retreat. Her family backs this 100% on Young and the Restless. But after everyone leaves, before Sharon gets the chance to find a place and make arrangements, she hallucinates Cameron. She hears him say, "You can try and run from what's happening, Sharon, but you can't hide." Horrified, she turns and sees him standing before her. Although she may realize he's a hallucination, he'll surely terrify her. No doubt, she's falling apart. Hopefully, she can call for help before Cameron gets in her head and makes her do something dangerous. Y&R is absolutely thrilling and explosive these days. Don't miss a minute to see what happens next with Sharon Newman and how Kirsten continues to terrorize her from beyond the grave on the CBS. In the turbulent world of the Young and the Restless, the twists and turns of everyday lives rarely feel predictable. The residents of Genoa City constantly find themselves at the mercy of one another's secrets, schemes, and betrayals. But some stories dig deeper than mere plots of power, romance, or revenge. They delve into the darker recesses of the past, where old demons and haunting memories can resurface in terrifying and unpredictable ways. For Sharon Newman, a woman who has experienced her fair share of heartbreak, tragedy, and emotional trauma, her past is far from simple. While Sharon has battled mental health issues, struggled with love, and fought for her family, one ghost from her past has always loomed large: Kirsten. Cameron was a dark chapter in Sharon's life, a man who made her a pawn in his twisted game, using her to exact his own vengeful plans on those she loved. His cruelty was endless, and his obsession with Sharon terrifying. Now, as The Young and the Restless takes its audience on a thrilling ride, Cameron Kirsten is back, but not in the way anyone would expect. He's not physically present. No, this is far worse. The haunting presence of Cameron is about to take center stage in Sharon's life once again, in ways that will shake her to the core and force her to confront the trauma she thought she had long buried. The dark return of Cameron Kirsten. It's been years since Sharon's encounter with Cameron Kirsten. The last time he was in Genoa City, his obsession with her led to a series of horrific events that nearly destroyed her life. Cameron, a man with a violent and manipulative streak, had kidnapped Sharon in a desperate attempt to control her, forcing her into a nightmarish ordeal that left her emotionally to rebuild her life and find peace. She moved on from the man who had so thoroughly ensnared her. However, as it is often the case in soap operas, the past never stays buried for long. As Sharon's life seemed to settle into some semblance of peace with her family and work, Cameron's dark shadow is poised to re-enter the picture, albeit in a new, more insidious way. This time, Cameron is dead, but his legacy of manipulation is very much alive, manifesting in terrifying ways that push Sharon to her limits. Sharon will soon find herself unable to escape Cameron's reach, as his influence begins to reassert itself through a series of chilling events. While she once thought she had survived his torment, the truth will soon come to light that his final act of cruelty was much more far-reaching than anyone could have imagined. The first signs: a threat from the grave. The first indication that something is wrong comes when Sharon begins receiving strange, cryptic messages. Initially, she brushes it off as a prank or some sick joke, until the messages start to feel all too familiar. There's a darkness to them, a calculated malevolence that she instantly recognizes as Cameron's handiwork. These messages, filled with taunts and veiled threats, tap into Sharon's most deep-seated fears, manipulating her once again as Cameron did so many years ago. Each message feels personal, as though Cameron has somehow found a way to reach into her life from beyond the grave. The first few are relatively harmless, but as time goes on, they become increasingly menacing. The messages seem to predict Sharon's every move, whether it's about her work, her children, or her relationship with Ray. They all seem to know exactly what Sharon is up to, and the knowledge is unsettling. Sharon starts to experience flashbacks of her previous interactions with Cameron, his presence in her life, the manipulation, and the horrifying way he once controlled her. The terror that once paralyzed her resurfaces, and she finds herself reliving the worst moments of her life, even though Cameron is gone. As these messages escalate, Sharon is haunted by vivid, terrifying dreams. In them, she is once again in Cameron's grasp, reliving the trauma of her captivity. She can see his face in her dreams, hear his voice, feel his breath on her neck, as though he's right there beside her. Each nightmare pulls her further into the abyss, and she begins to feel as though she is losing touch with reality. Ray, Sharon's loving husband, is understandably concerned. He sees the toll that these nightmares and messages are taking on Sharon, but despite his best efforts, he can't seem to pull her out of the grip of her past. Sharon becomes distant, withdrawn, and consumed by her fears. Every moment she's awake, she's looking over her shoulder, expecting Cameron to materialize out of thin air. The psychological toll on Sharon becomes unbearable as she tries to cope with her anxiety, her PTSD from the previous events, and the mounting fear that Cameron is still somehow controlling her life from the grave. As much as she wants to believe that she's stronger than she was back then, the terror takes root once more. The return of an unseen hand, the hidden legacy. Sharon's friends and family are starting to notice the shift in her behavior. They watch as she isolates herself from the people she loves, unable to communicate what's going on inside her mind. But it's not just her mental health that's in jeopardy, it's her life. The messages, the nightmares, and the overwhelming sense of dread all point to something more sinister. Someone, or something, has orchestrated these events. Sharon is not just being haunted by the memories of Cameron. It's as if someone else is behind the scenes, pulling the strings, perhaps even someone working in his name. This is when Sharon learns the shocking truth. A mysterious individual arrives in Genoa City, claiming to have known Cameron Kirsten in his final days. The person reveals that Cameron didn't simply disappear after his death. He left behind a series of final instructions, a legacy of his own twisted revenge. It turns out that Cameron had orchestrated one final scheme before his death, ensuring that Sharon's life would never be the same. His plan was far more complex and insidious than anyone could have anticipated. Through a series of hidden recordings, documents, and secretive actions, it becomes clear that Cameron had been manipulating events even in the moments before his death. He had arranged for someone to carry on his mission, to terrorize Sharon, to force her to relive the horror she had suffered under his control. The more Sharon unravels the mystery, the more she realizes that Cameron's hold on her was far from over. As the truth emerges, Sharon's trust in the people around her is shaken to its core. She begins to question everyone's motives. Could someone close to her be involved in Cameron's twisted plan?